So here is Protectli, and it has a quick start guide. Once you connect Protectli, you will have the option to directly install OpenSense. So Protectli has preloaded the Pixie Boot environment, which is loading the images directly from their server online. So you don't need to create the bootable disk images. But on their server, latest release may not be available. So I will show you that also. So first of all, let me connect it HDMI cable. Then we will be connecting the power cable. So power here is in front and you have the screw to tighten it. Here you can see it is already started, but let me not start it right now. I'll turn it off. So this is the WAN cable. So I will be connecting it with port number 1. So there are 6 ports total available, and here is the LAN cable. So I'll be using port number 1 and port number 2 for WAN. If there is multiple WANs, so for WAN failover, I'll be using port number 2. For LAN, I will be starting from here, from 6 in fact. WAN is connected to port number 1 and LAN is connected to port number 6. So I will be also connecting the keyboard and mouse here. So here is keyboard and mouse, which I'll be connecting here. And here is USB disk for the installation. So let me turn this on, and so you can see here del to enter the setup. I'll press del. So I have already explained you the Protectli boot, how the core boot is working here. So this is core boot which is installed on Protectli. So if I go to boot maintenance manager, you will see here boot options, and in boot options you can see change the boot order. Right now you can see here that Proxmox is installed here. So I have also explained you how you can use this as a virtual appliance. So I have covered that in a different video, but in this video, in case you want to install OpenSense directly on Protectli, so we'll be going with that. If I press enter here, so you will see these are multiple options available here. So one is the UEFI shell, one is the network boot and utilities, and then is the SanDisk, which is connected to it. So in case if I want to boot from the network boot, so once I press plus on this, so network will go on top, press enter. So I will be pressing F10 to save the changes and confirm Y. I can escape to exit, escape to exit, escape to exit, and continue. Now it will load the Pixie boot. You can see here iPixie boot. This is directly coming from Protectli server. So I can go for the OS selection. So I have connected the cable here. So it is automatically getting the internet connection from here. So if I go back to the Protectli now, so you can see here that it gives me the option to install. So you can do the BSD installs, you can do the Linux install, and you can do various other installs. But I'll not be going with that. I will be using the USB flash disk, and I will be going to boot maintenance manager. I will be choosing boot options here. I'll do the change boot order. I will press enter here, and we will be using SanDisk Cruiser Glide, which is my bootable USB disk which I have attached. So I will do plus 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 so that it will be coming on top. So my first boot priority is SanDisk, and here I will be pressing F10 to save the changes, Y to save, then escape, escape, escape until you come to main screen and continue. Now it will boot directly from the USB. You can see here OpenSense, and now it will start loading the image. So it is also connecting network also, because we have two network interfaces here. One was connected to the LAN, another is connected to WAN. So these both links will be up. You can see here link status is changed to up. One link, and this is connected to the internet. It gave a beep. So the moment it shows the login screen, it means that OpenSense is now ready and we can install it right now. In order to install, we'll be using a user ID as installer, and password will be OPNsense. So installer is to install the OpenSense. Continue with the default key map. So I'm using default, which is QWERTY keyboard. So I'll be going with that. So here are the install options in case you want to do the maintenance and troubleshooting. For example, you can do the password reset, and you can also import the configuration. But as we are going to install it, so we will be choosing the first option, which is install ZFS. Of course, you can use the install UFS also, but we'll be using the install ZFS option here. So here are the virtual disk types. So whether you want to go with the no redundancy, when there is a single hard disk, There is no, of course, redundancy, so you will not be using other options like mirror, RAID 1, RAID 2, or RAID 3. So we'll be going with only stripe option, which is no redundancy. And here you can see now these are multiple options available. So you can install it on MMC, you can install it in the hard disk also. I'll be installing it on MMC here. So I'll be choosing this particular option here and I will simply press OK. All the changes on the disk will be destroyed. So of course we want to do that. We'll say yes. It will clone the USB image directly to the eMMC or internal disk of Protectli. We'll wait for this process to complete and I'll come back to you. So here you can see that installation is completed. Whether you want to continue with change the root password or confirm and exit. I can change the root password here. I'll enter the root password and re-enter the root password. Now we have to complete the install and exit and reboot the system now. So you don't need to do anything here. So I will just press del. I will just show you it will load the BIOS again, which is core boot. But before that, I will be simply now taking disk out. So now installation is completed. And here you can see the setup again. What is right now connected. WAN cable is connected to port number 1 and LAN cable is connected to port number 6. Port number 6 is directly connected to my laptop here. So I will show you that now how we'll start configuring it. We can again go back to the boot maintenance manager and here we will go to the boot options, and in boot options you can go change boot order. You will see here network boot is there as the first boot order, but we don't want that. We want the eMMC device as a boot option. So what we'll do, we will change the boot options and here is eMMC device. So I will bring this on top and then press enter, F10 to save, yes to confirm the changes, escape, 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 and here we will continue. Now it will load the OPNsense directly from eMMC disk, which is internal into Protectli. So now I will just simply type root as a user and the password which I set up. Let me increase the size here also so that you can see it. Here you can see LAN and WAN, the first thing that must be there. So by default, LAN IP address is 192.168.1.1. Here, these are the options in the command line interface. First one is to assign the interface. Second one is to set the interface IP addresses, and then you can do power down and all of that. The first two options are extremely important. So we'll be typing the option number 1, which tells me that do you want to configure the link aggregation now? So, for example, there are 4 ports of 2.5 Gbps. So you want to combine them all together to make one as a link aggregation. So link aggregation can be done for multiple ports here. But I'll not be going with link aggregation. I'll show you that from the web user interface how you can do it. Right now, we'll not be going with it. So we'll type N as capital. And now it says, do you want to configure the VLAN? We will be configuring VLAN through the web user interface. We will not do it now. Now it shows me all interfaces which are detected. You can see here that IG0, IG1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So IG0 is the first port. Its name is, of course, its PCI number is 0. And then from 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. It has given the MAC addresses also for every port. So there is a MAC address and it is Intel Ethernet controller. So as I am connecting number 1 as a WAN, which is IGC0. So I'll be typing that. So I will do IGC0 as my WAN interface. So why I'm doing this? Because I want you to get the full grip on doing the configuration. So IGC0 we have typed here, and now it is saying that enter the LAN interface or auto choose. So I will be using IGC 9 as we have seen IGC 5. So this is the port number 6, but it is in fact IGC 5. So I'll be typing IGC 5. You can of course choose auto also if the interface is connected, so it will take that. So IGC 5, press enter. Now enter the optional interface. So I will not be choosing optional interface right now. So I'll be pressing enter. Now it shows you that WAN is IGC 0 and LAN is IGC 5. So you can see here IGC 0 and IGC 5. So IGC 0 is port number 1 and IGC 5 is port number 6, of course. It all depends on you which port you want to connect. Right now I have connected these two and I will type Y for saving the changes. Now you can see it's configuring it. Now you can see here that WAN, it has automatically got the IP address, and LAN also, it has automatically provided the IP. So by default, the LAN IP address is 192.168.1.1. And for WAN, of course, this cable, which I have mentioned here, this is the WAN cable. This is coming from the internet gateway, which is provided to me by the telecom service provider. So its IP address is 10.11.12.1. It has got the IP address because that is also a DHCP server. So WAN gateway has got the DHCP server address directly, and LAN is right now connected to my laptop. And logically, my laptop should also get the IP address now. But first of all, let me show you on the screen again. Two interfaces are configured right now. We can configure all the interfaces, but right now I have configured only two interfaces. I will be now going to shell. You can see here another option is number 8, which is shell. I will type shell, and here I can ping google.com, for example. So it will give me the response from google.com. It means that I'm connected to the internet now. Now this is configured here, so we will not be coming back to the command line user interface now. If I show you, this one is done right now. So I can simply remove the HDMI cable, and I can simply remove the USB keyboard and mouse. Now this is configured, and so we can start accessing this directly on the network right now. So let me connect my laptop. As I have mentioned, that this particular cable, which is the LAN cable, it is connected to my laptop. And of course, I can connect this with the switch. I can connect this with the Wi-Fi access point, so that I can now get the IP address directly from the DHCP server, because this is now DHCP as well. So let me take you back to my computer now, and let me show you the network here. So I'm connected to Wi-Fi. I will be just disconnecting the Wi-Fi. So here it is identifying the network. You can see here that it is connected 1.168.1.111, and this is the IP address 192.168.1.1, and 1.1 is the IP address of OPNsense. So I will just open 192.168.1.1. I'm now able to access it. I will enter the same root as a user, password which you have set up. Otherwise, default password is OPNsense. So I will be entering the password which I have used. It will automatically run the wizard here. So you can use the wizard. Of course, we have already done the configuration from the command line user interface. But if you have installed it for the first time, it will automatically start the wizard here. Otherwise, you can click on system and you can click on wizard. So it will run the wizard. We will just, for the sake of wizard, for the sake of this tutorial, we'll run the wizard. Click next. Hostname OPNsense. So I will do OPNsense, and the domain will be, for example, syncbricks.com. Language English. Primary DNS, leave it blank. It will automatically get the DNS from the DNS resolver. Unbound DNS. So I will enable the unbound DNS also, which means that this will work as a DNS server. Other options I will leave default. I will show you that also. We will configure one by one everything. Here you can choose the time zone. So I'll be choosing my time zone as Asia Muscat. Click next. And then here is the WAN. It is automatically getting the IP address. Of course, now it depends on your WAN setup. So we will see that in detail in the configuration section also. But here, for example, if you are using PPPoE or PPTP or DHCP or static, so all the options are there. As I have connected this with the internet gateway, which is provided to me by the telecom service provider, so I'll be getting the IP address directly from there, which is DHCP. So don't make any changes here. So click next, and then it says that what is the LAN IP address for this. Of course, LAN IP address is default 192.168.1.1. You can of course change it to 100.1 or 2.1 or 3.1, or you can use the other private classes like 10.0.0.1 or like that. But I will be using for the timing default, and we'll see this later. Click next. Root password, in case you want to change it now. Earlier we had changed it. Otherwise, you can keep the blank if you don't want to change it. And then wizard will complete here, and then you will reload. Now a reload is now in the process, so you have to wait for it if there is any changes. So you can see here, finished initial configuration. Now your OPNsense is ready. So if I click on dashboard, you will see here, it will show how the traffic is passing through. First things first, that I want to change the theme here. So I will just click on system. I will go to settings. I will go to general, and I will choose from here the theme, which is OPNsense dark, and I'll come down and save it. Now this has been saved here, and the device is ready right now. I will just show you the interfaces here. in interfaces, you can see LAN and WAN. These are two interfaces. But if you remember, we have 6 interfaces here. So I can go to assignment here. If I go to assignment, you will see devices, and these will be other 4 available. You can see here 1, 2, 3, and 4. So IGC 5 and IGC 0 were configured here. So IGC 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 ports which were not configured. So these are available here. In the next videos, I'll show you how you can configure it. In this particular video, we installed OPNsense directly on Protectli. This is one of the options, of course, if you want to use this only for firewall. So you can install OPNsense, PFSense, or any other next generation firewall, open source firewall. In this particular video, we have used OPNsense on this. If you are using this purely for a firewall, then it's fine. You go with OPNsense. But another option which I have recommended is to use OPNsense as a virtual appliance and install the Proxmox on this first, then do the PCI pass through to the OPNsense, where these ports will be physically be available to OPNsense through the Proxmox. And then you can use this as a virtual appliance, which will give you flexibility in terms of saving the configuration, in terms of taking the backup, and so on. So in next video, I have explained you how you can install OPNsense on Proxmox. And if you want to know what is Proxmox, I have provided the detail of Proxmox in a course where you can understand complete open source virtualization.